sick of this intro, dude. I've had the same intro for an entire year, and I'm just so sick of it. I really need something new.
Why don't you just revamp it? Just redo the whole thing since it's your anniversary.
So you're saying like make a brand new intro?
Yeah.
A brand new intro for my channel. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, dude.
Why not?
I think I might do that. I might make a brand new intro for my channel. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Good idea. I'm going to make a brand new intro for my channel right now.
Oh, yeah. Is he gone?
Let's put something better on, huh?
This decrepit walls and see what is left behind.
We just found this on the side of the road in the middle of New England.
Now let's watch a real Urbex video. A real Urbexer that actually knows what he's doing.
Years. May 15th, 2022 to May 15th, 2025. It's crazy to think that I've been doing this channel for 3 whole years now, but it's even crazier to think that you guys have been watching me for 3 whole years. I mean, what the hell have you guys been doing putting up with me for so long? When I did my most recent anniversary special last year, on May 15th, 2024, I had a little over 2,000 subscribers. Now, 1 year later, on May 15th, 2025, I have over 8,000 subscribers. The last year has gone extremely well for my channel. I've gained a larger, more loyal audience. I've met a lot of really cool people. I've had several videos perform extremely well. I've been to some amazing and fascinating locations. And, in my opinion, I've improved quite a bit since I first started. I'm not gonna lie, watching some of my older videos, especially those from 2022, really make me cringe. I genuinely rather be waterboarded than watch some of those early 2022 videos in full. To showcase just how far I've come since the first video I ever uploaded to this channel 3 years ago, I figured I'd take some time to review all of my early 2022 videos in chronological order and see how they have aged over time, for better or for worse. You can think of this as a sort of historical assessment of my early YouTube career. It goes without saying that, being the creator of these videos, I am my worst critic, so expect some harsh treatment towards my younger self. 2022 JMass needs to be openly chastised for his subpar output. We'll be ranking these videos on a tier list. If you don't know what a tier list is or how it works, I'm sure the millions of low-effort tier list ranking videos currently on YouTube right now can explain, but I'll also let you know how they work. A tier list ranking allows us to assign subjects based on a graded level of quality. S is the highest slot, reserved for the best of the best, followed by A, then B, then C, and all the way down to F, the worst of the worst. One thing I like about tier list rankings is that you can put as many subjects in each slot as you'd like, so it's not as rigid as a traditional numerical ranking. Also, don't ask me why S is the highest letter when the rest of them are in alphabetical order. I literally have no idea. I tend to consider 2023 and beyond to truly be the period of time when my channel took off and evolved for the better, so 2022 stands as an outlier, a rough and rugged yet oddly charming beginning to my channel's 3-year history. In this video, we'll take a look at every video I have uploaded on my channel from 2022, rank them on a tier list, and nitpick and criticize every last detail. If anything, this will go to show how much better the last year has been, as I've improved quite a bit since those early days. I am both intrigued and terrified to reassess this period of my channel's history. Now, without further ado, let us begin. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the very first video I uploaded to my channel exactly 3 years ago as of the release of this video on May 15th, 2022. This, of course, is my exploration of the Hoosac Tunnel in Florida, Massachusetts. And since this is my first video, this one is historically significant for my channel. It's also currently the second most popular video on my channel, although it does fluctuate with another one that has the same view count. Now, where would I rank this significant chapter in JMass YouTube history? F tier easily. I really hate this video. This is my least favorite video on my entire channel. It's dog shit. I hate it. F tier all the way. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this video. It's so bad. The research process I had in preparation for filming this video was terrible and rushed. I got so much information wrong. I constantly had to correct myself in the post-editing stage. I pronounced the name of the tunnel wrong the entire video. The correct pronunciation is Hoosac, but I kept saying Hoosac like a complete idiot. Again, not prepared at all for filming. I look like shit throughout the video. I have to admit it. This was a time in my life where I was definitely going through a bit. I was a little chubbier than I am now. I was gelling my hair like a weirdo, so I look horrible. The cinematography is terrible. It's very shaky and rushed. The editing is terrible as well. There's really weird, awkward pauses, random panning with no narration. There's also weird moments, like the part of the video where I'm walking into the tunnel wearing AirPods like a complete idiot, and you can't even hear what I'm saying. All around, it's just a terrible video. I hate it. Poorly researched, poorly filmed. I look terrible. I sound terrible. I come off as just very unprofessional. I do not like it. It does not hold up to the standards I have today. That being said, to give myself the benefit of the doubt, it is, of course, the very first video on my channel, and it's one of the earliest videos I ever recorded on my channel. So, of course, I didn't have the knowledge I have now. I hadn't found my groove yet. But no excuses. It's a terrible video. I should have been more properly researched for it, more prepared. I hate it so much. And the fact that it is my second most viewed video on my channel really embarrasses me. So F tier all the way. I hate it. And this is going to be a running streak for most of my 2022 videos. All right, so the next video we have is exploring Spruces Park in Williamstown, Massachusetts. Fun fact, I actually filmed this video the same day I filmed the Hoosac Tunnel video. You can tell by me wearing the same outfit and also looking as terrible as I did in the other one. So I filmed this the same day I filmed the Hoosac Tunnel video, and I also released it on the same day. I also released this one on May 15th. I believe I released it just a few hours later after I released the Hoosac Tunnel one. That being said, despite how closely linked those two videos are, I honestly don't mind this one as much as I do the Hoosac Tunnel video. I don't think it's as bad. So I'm going to give it C tier. I think it's very middle of the road, average, which for my 2022 videos is actually not bad at all. So this is definitely a C tier video. It really just doesn't do much for me. I don't think it's terrible, but the editing is not very good. Again, there's weird, awkward pauses. I don't think I'm very loud or clear enough. That being said, I do think my research was a little better on this one. I think I got the facts correct throughout. I didn't make any glaring mistakes. I also like how concise this video is. It doesn't really feel like it's meandering at all. It's only about 5 minutes long, and I think I cover everything that needs to be covered. I show off everything that needs to be shown off. To be fair, it is a pretty small property itself, so there wasn't too much to show, but Spruces Park is a really interesting place in the Berkshires, and I think I covered it as best I could for the time. Again, this is early 2022 JMass. I'm new to the game. I don't really know what's going on. Don't have too much experience with filming and YouTube. So with what I had and with what I did, it's not bad. C tier for sure. Especially considering that same day I filmed by far my worst video on my channel, the Hoosac Tunnel video, which I hate so much. So now we have yet another historically significant video for the JMass YouTube channel. And that, of course, is the exploration of the abandoned Sutton Motor Inn in Sutton, Massachusetts. Now, another fun fact for you, this was actually the very first video I ever filmed for the channel. I filmed this one in March 2022, a full 2 months before I ever released the first video on my channel. Now, the Hoosac Tunnel and Spruces Parks videos, I actually filmed in April 2022, a month before I released them, but the Sudden Motorin video was the very first video I ever filmed in March 2022. So for that reason, it does hold a significant place in my heart. And you guys are going to be shocked by this, but I'm actually going to give it a B tier ranking. I really don't think this video is that bad for how early I filmed it, for being one of the first videos I ever filmed. I really don't think it's that bad. This is probably going to be the highest praise I give any early 2022 video I filmed. So that's a huge achievement for the Sudden Motorin video. That being said, let's get the criticisms out of the way first. At the end of the day, this is my very first video I ever filmed, so you can clearly see it. It's a bit rugged, it's a bit rough around the edges. I think there's a lot of awkward editing, weird long pauses and stilted narration. One thing I really don't like in this video is I have a very bizarre introduction where I'm talking in the woods directly to the camera, breaking the fourth wall about the video's production. Long story short, the Sudden Motorin was a victim of an arson attack in May 2022. At that time, I hadn't actually released the video yet. I was kind of on the fence. I wasn't too happy with how it turned out, but it was the victim of an arson attack and it was later demolished. So for that reason, I felt that for historical preservation purposes, I should release it. So I made an introduction explaining that. I think it's a little weird and it kind of takes away from the video. But I added that nonetheless to explain it. But that being said, I really don't mind this one. I think it was actually well researched, especially in comparison to the previous two videos. I think that I brought all the historical facts and details I could. And I also think I adequately covered the property. I showed everything that there was to see, including the giant screen. I mean, the Sudden Motorin at the time was one of my all-time favorite abandoned locations. It was a really cool spot, and it's such a shame it's demolished. So I am glad I was able to preserve and document it while I could. Another weird thing I did in this video is I used a lot of wide angle lenses, which I don't really do that anymore in my videos, but at the time I was using a lot of wide angle lenses to film it. Although it's kind of weird and I don't do that, honestly, it doesn't look too bad, especially in comparison to the more stilted filming I did in other early 2022 videos. So anyways, I don't mind the Sudden Motorin video. I actually think it's one of the better early 2022 videos I did, and it's also quite sentimental to me, even though it does have a lot of stilted, rough editing, and of course I look like shit, but that's the case for all my early 2022 videos. All right, so now we have what is perhaps the least viewed and most inconsequential video in my entire channel, and that, of course, is my exploration of Jockey Cap in Fryeburg, Maine. I really don't know why I filmed this video, and I don't know why I made it my fourth video. It's such a bizarre choice. Now, don't get me wrong, I love hiking. I'm a very outdoorsy person. I also love Jockey Cap. I think it's an absolutely beautiful place. The summit is amazing with expansive views of the White Mountains of New Hampshire. If you don't know, Fryeburg, Maine is right on the border with New Hampshire. The hiking trail is great. But that being said, Jockey Cap is such a short hike. With no exaggeration, it takes like 10 to 15 minutes to hike from the parking lot to the summit of Jockey Cap. It's really short and the view is great, but to warrant an entire video, I don't know. Basically, this is a short 6-minute video of me hiking this really short trail, and I just have no idea why I made a full channel video on this. This is something I would make as a channel members only video nowadays, you know what I mean? So it's just very strange that I did that, especially considering that at the time I was really trying to set a precedent to make my channel best known for urban exploration and abandoned sites and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not to say that I never do non-urbex content. Of course I do. Even back then I did. But to make that my fourth video, super random. Again, this is one of the least viewed videos on my channel, and in my opinion, one of the most inconsequential videos on my channel. If you wiped this from my channel's history, if nobody knew it existed, nothing would change. This video has done nothing in the grand scheme of things, and there's just nothing to really say about it. I'm actually going to give this video a D tier. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. I think the editing is rough. I think I look so out of shape in this video. Again, I'm an outdoorsy person. I love hiking, but in early 2022, I was definitely not in the best shape. And you can see that there's literally a portion where I'm huffing and puffing and panting while I'm hiking up this tiny ass trail, up this not even steep hill. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. I'm not going to lie. The views are great at Jockey Cap. Don't get me wrong. Beautiful place. Highly recommend checking it out if you're in the area. But I don't know. To make this the fourth video on my channel, to dedicate an entire video to it, makes no sense. It's inconsequential, as I said. And I don't blame it for being one of the least viewed videos. So definitely worthy of D tier. That being said, I do think I covered it for what it is. I mean, what more can you say other than a 6-minute video? Another interesting fun fact, by the way, this video was released on May 18th, literally just a few days after May 15th. So if you didn't know, a lot of my early 2022 videos were released around the same time, almost back to back. But yeah, really, what else can you say about exploring Jockey Cap in Fryeburg, Maine? It's such a nothing burger of a video. Um, and it honestly doesn't even do the place justice the way I think it does. But yeah. So the next video we're going to be covering is the abandoned Nansen ski jump in Milan, New Hampshire. Now, fun fact, I actually filmed this video on the very same day that I filmed the Jockey Cap video. And I also released it the following day that I released that one, this one being on May 19th, 2022. So it just gives you a sense of how close together all these videos were in terms of filming and releasing. I was really scrambling to get all these videos out at the time, trying to build my channel up basically. And like most of my early 2022 videos, this one's rough around the edges. It's rushed. That being said, I don't think it's horrible. I'm going to give this one C tier. Now, the Nansen ski jump is an interesting thing. At the time I filmed this video, it technically was abandoned in the sense that it was no longer being used and it wasn't actively being cared for, but it was actually in the process of renovation. They were actually planning on renovating this entire property, but at the time I filmed it, it was still largely abandoned. A few years later, though, I don't remember the exact year, but a few years after I filmed this, the Nansen ski jump was completely renovated and maintained. And I wouldn't even argue it's abandoned anymore. Now it's actually more of a historical landmark that's being preserved. But at the time I filmed it, it was coming off many years of neglect and abandonment. The renovations were only just starting. So there are actually a few comments on the video saying it wasn't truly abandoned, which I could see that. But I actually filmed that video right before the renovations truly took hold. In fact, I actually visited the Nansen ski jump many times before in the past, back when it truly was an abandoned location. The whole place was wild and untamed. And I also really hype it up in this video as this like amazing abandoned location. I mean, it's cool, but it's definitely a mid-tier video and it's a cool spot, but not what I hyped it up to be. Again, other than the rough editing and the stilted narration, I got the history down. I think I accurately showed the spot, so it's largely inoffensive. It does what it needs to do, and then it gets the hell out of there. So definitely a mid-tier, C-tier video. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It is what it is. Um, it's a cool spot. So I guess it was kind of cool, being able to film it before the renovations were truly finished. All right, so this one's kind of funny. We got my honest review of Bridgeport, Connecticut. You see, back in the day, I used to do very short, humorous, comedic videos. This is one of a few I ever did. And basically, the whole premise of the video, the whole joke is how much I hate the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Because if you don't know, I do not like Bridgeport, Connecticut. It's by far my least favorite city in New England. In fact, that's a bit of a running joke on this channel. I do not like Bridgeport, Connecticut. And the video is literally just 30 seconds of me making that joke and running it into the ground. So, really, not much else to say about it. I can't deny it still kind of makes me laugh to this day, but it's so short and it's so stupid. I don't really do that thing anymore on the channel. It's truly a relic of its time. So I gotta give it D tier because it's an objectively bad video, but it's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. And it still holds true to this day. I do still, in fact, hate Bridgeport, Connecticut. I apologize to all the residents of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm sure you guys are awesome, but I don't like the city. I'm sorry, not much to do there, and I hate P.T. Barnum. So the next video we're going to be covering is my exploration of the abandoned Kristoff pig farm in Sterling, Massachusetts, released on May 23rd, 2022, which again just goes to show you how close together all these videos are, all in mid-May 2022. That being said, this is an easy F tier. I do not like this video whatsoever. This is going to be the second F tier on our list so far. I hate this video. And also not a big fan of this location either. Now, I'm a very easy person to please when it comes to travel and urban exploration. It's extremely rare that I'll find a place I don't like visiting. At most, I love the places I visit, and at worst, I tolerate them. But this is a rare location I just outright didn't really like. And I think it does show in the video. I visited this place twice, and I don't think I'll ever return. We'll get into that, but the only positives I can say about this video are that I think I researched it well. I gave all the correct information, didn't really make any mistakes. And I also can say that I adequately showed the entire property. I showed everything there was to see, didn't leave anything out. That being said, my God, I hate this video, and I'm not crazy about this location. For one, I just got to say it. I look terrible in this video. This is probably my worst outward performance of any video on my channel. I look really gross and sweaty and uncomfortable, which I am. I am in this video. I'm very uncomfortable. We'll get into that. But I look just very gross and unappealing. I also think that the timing of this video's filming was horrible. Basically, I filmed this right before sunset on a weekday, so it's very dimly lit. There's a lot of shadows. The lighting is horrible. The cinematography is atrocious. Definitely one of my worst looking videos on my channel. I just think that was... I usually like to film in broad daylight so you can see everything, but I feel like this one was so dim and shadowy. It just looks so hazy and very shady throughout. Now, this location, the history is interesting, but this location suffers from one major issue. Well, two actually, but the major issue is ticks. The ticks are out of control at this spot. I've gone here twice, and every time I'm covered head to toe in ticks. It's horrible. The brush is just atrocious here too. There are hiking trails, but the brush and vegetation is so over the top here. And again, I just don't think I presented it in the best way. I'm just really not a fan of this video. It's an easy F tier for me. Very gross location. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. The ticks just really left a sour taste in my mouth. Both times I've been here, I've had minimum 10 ticks on me. And I also think just in terms of what there is to see, it's really just old shacks and stuff. There's a cool abandoned trailer there. And again, the history is interesting. It was one of the largest pig farms in New England. But again, not crazy about this video, not crazy about this spot. Looks horrible. I look horrible. Yeah, I don't really like it. The next video we have is my exploration of the Graniteville Historic District in Westford, Massachusetts. And I have to say that to this day, this is probably the most disappointing video I've ever filmed and uploaded to my channel. It was a massive missed opportunity, and for that reason alone, I have to give it an E tier. It's not outrageously bad or anything, so it's not deserving of an F tier, but it is so disappointing to me. It still bothers me to this day, so for that reason, it gets an E tier, and I'll explain why. The Graniteville Historic District is a small little district in Westford that has a couple abandoned sites, namely this large abandoned granite mill, but there's also a warehouse out back. Now, in this video, I only explore the warehouse, but again, there's a huge abandoned granite mill there. That's actually what the thumbnail is. The thing that bothers me is that this is a really interesting abandoned location that has a lot of sentimental attachments to me. I actually live in the area. I'm not far away from Westford, so I've been to that spot a couple times before I filmed that video, and I've also been there a couple times after I filmed the video. And nearly every time I've gone inside the mill. I've also gone to the warehouse, of course, but I've gone inside the mill, explored it, been in nearly every single room. It's one of my favorite local abandoned spots, super underrated, and I was also the very first person to actually document it online, an urban exploration video. and I completely butchered it because for whatever reason, in this particular video, I didn't venture inside the mill. Now, in the video, I claim that it was the gate around it that stopped me, which, come on, J-Mass, really? So I didn't film the inside of this mill, which in my opinion is the coolest part. I also poorly researched this video. I basically came up with no information or facts or details about the mills. I claimed I didn't know anything about it. And then I went into the warehouse. I think I just kind of stumbled through, and it just bothers me to this day that I completely glossed over the mill, only checked out the warehouse, and came with no history or details or facts. Major disappointment of a video. And what hurts the most is, again, I was the first urban explorer to document this place online. So when people see this place online through my video, it's just, you don't get to see the entire property and you basically learn nothing from it. Of all the videos I've ever posted on my channel, this is one that I constantly think about remaking or refilming. I usually like to do my spots, one and done, but this is a rare spot where I'm like, I really wish I could go back and reshoot it. I mean, the only other place I ever did that for was the Hoosac tunnel, and as you saw, that was an F tier video. So it really bothers me. That being said, it's not F tier because I don't think it's horrible. And I am glad that I was able to show off a cool local spot, but my God, it was so disappointing and poorly researched, and I really should have gone inside that damn mill. In my next video, I covered Ponyhenge in Lincoln, Massachusetts, and Ponyhenge is a quaint, whimsical little spot. I really like it. I still go there to this day. It's just a fun little spot. It's nothing major, but it's just a lot of fun. And the video I filmed on it back in 2022, it was a short one. It was only 4 minutes long. And I mean, realistically, what else could I have said? So I got to give this a C tier. At the end of the day, it's just a mid-tier video. I honestly don't even have a lot to say about this video. I come in, I cover Ponyhenge, go over the little-known history of it, show it off, and that's about it. I mean, to defend myself a bit, I don't really know what else I could have done in this video to go above and beyond. Um, it's a small site, and there's not too much to say about it. But that being said, it's a cool site. I kind of wish I was a little more extravagant or grand with it. Um, Again, I think my presentation was a little stilted and sloppy, but that being said, it's just a mid-tier C level video of what is genuinely a really fun and cute little site. But yeah, C tier for the Ponyhenge video. In my next video, I explored the abandoned Metropolitan State Hospital in Waltham, Massachusetts. This is yet another May 2022 video. I released this one on May 29th, and it just goes to show you how many videos I was releasing back in May 2022. I mean, everything we've discussed thus far was released in that month. It's crazy to think of how much I was releasing back then in such a short time. But anyways, the Metropolitan State Hospital video, I got to give it a C tier. I think it's mid. It's not horrible. I don't think it's outrageously bad or anything, but it could have been much better. In fact, I think this is another missed opportunity video that is slightly disappointing. There's a lot more I could have covered. I wish I delved deeper into the history and past of this place. Now, that being said, I do think I adequately discuss and cover the history and details of the Metropolitan State Hospital. I think I treat it with respect. I discuss how dark and brutal its history is. I do treat it with respect, but I just wish I could have delved deeper into it. There's a lot more that could have been discussed. There's also a lot more on the property I wish I showed. I wish I covered the nearby Metfern Cemetery. I never showed that in the video. There's also an abandoned water tower nearby. Also some cobblestone ruins and remnants. So I wish I covered all of that in the video, but instead I mainly focused on the administrative building, which is fine, and I covered everything there is to see in that building. So again, it's a C tier video. I discussed the history, I showed off the building, I adequately presented and displayed this abandoned location. I just wish I went deeper, more above and beyond. This is probably my most visited abandoned location. I've been here, I would honestly say, well over 50 times. I've been to this abandoned spot so many times, more than any other spot. I know it like the back of my hand. And to think that I could have gone deeper and harder into this subject and I didn't in this video definitely disappoints me a bit. There's also a portion in the middle of the video where I actually run into these two other urbexers who are there, and I get them on film. You know, they kind of give their own thoughts and feelings on the location and all that stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it's a little weird. I don't really do that anymore. You know, I try not to drag in people I just meet. So that part's a little awkward. I probably wouldn't do that nowadays. Of course, I got their permission and consent, but even still, it's a little awkward. So that's another spot I've thought about kind of redoing, but again, I think I adequately discuss it, and it actually still is to this day one of my most viewed videos. Other than the Hoosac Tunnel video, it's one of my most viewed 2022 videos. So people seem to like it, but could have been better. Definitely could have been worse, but it's a C tier video for me. Next up, we got an absolute J-Mass masterpiece. This is my Plymouth Rock video, which is yet another comedy, humorous, jokey type video. As I said, I did a couple of those back in the day. This entire video's premise is that I visit Plymouth Rock in Plymouth, Massachusetts, showing how great and amazing and fantastic of a tourist attraction it is. And you get to see it in all its glory, just a rock sitting there on the beach that may or may not even be the real historical thing. And I love it. It's S tier. I mean, this is an easy S tier video. It's phenomenal. Also, fun fact, this is wicked random, but a lot of people from the Philippines watched this video for some reason. I think like a heavy majority of the viewers of this specific video are from the Philippines. It's very random, and that's yet another reason why this is an S tier video. So it's not only a video about the amazing tourist attraction of Plymouth Rock, and not only do I show it in all its glory, but the Filipinos love it. So what more can you say? That's an S tier. Absolute cinema. So next up, we got my video exploring the abandoned Green Mountain racetrack in Pownal, Vermont. I've gone on record before saying that this is, and still to this day, by the way, my all-time favorite abandoned location that I've ever visited and filmed. I absolutely love this spot. It's amazing. It's so much fun to explore. Unique history, unique site, beautiful scenery and location. I love it. That being said, I'm giving the video a B tier. Um, Really, the location is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Again, phenomenal location. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I really like this spot. And I'm giving it a B tier because I'm glad I was able to show it off to people. And I'm also glad that I hit it at the time I did. I hit it, you know, in late May, so you get to see all the beautiful green foliage. There was no one else there, so I caught it at a time when I was the only explorer. It was looking good, but there's a couple things that hold it back from being an A tier for me. While I did show and cover a lot of the site, there were some things that I missed or kind of glossed over. For example, a lot of people said that I missed the basement when I went. I also wish I covered more of the actual property itself. Most of it is just parking lots and roads, but I believe there are some little remnants here and there in the woods nearby, maybe another shed or two. There's also tons of floodlights. And of course, at the time, I didn't have a drone. One of the biggest missed opportunities for beautiful drone shots would have been there. That's another spot, by the way, I always think about redoing. So if you would be interested in seeing a reshoot or, you know, an updated exploration of this place, absolutely let me know. But there's just a lot I wish I covered more in depth. And I do go over the history of this place, but there's also some interesting historical facts I actually neglected to mention. A lot of people in my comments mentioned this, but apparently there was a massive concert there, which is kind of cool. So there's just things here and there that I regret not doing at the time. Again, wish I covered more of the spot. Wish I was more, you know, in depth regarding the history. But again, amazing spot. And even though it is one of my early 2022 videos, which I'm not usually crazy about, it was a cool spot and definitely one of the better spots I'd hit at that time. So it's a JMass classic. And again, still to this day, my favorite spot ever. It's a B tier, just not good enough to be A tier, and I'm hoping to revisit it someday. Next up, we got my video visiting Rock Rimmon in Manchester, New Hampshire. This is just another mid-tier video, so I got to give it a C. Definitely C tier. It's kind of similar to the Jockey Cap video in a way. It's just me going on a hike, showing off the beautiful scenery and views. And again, just like Jockey Cap, Rock Rimmon is a beautiful place to go hiking. Amazing panoramic views of the city of Manchester. You also get some of the nearby hills and mountains. The hike is cool, and the summit is also really cool. It's all graffiti covered rocks. That being said, again, it's just a mid-tier C level hiking video. But the other reason I have it on C tier, other than that, of course, is that I did actually miss some things. So around the end of the video, I actually show off an abandoned car in the woods that's nearby. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently deeper in the woods, if I'd ventured in more, there's a bunch of other abandoned stuff. There's another abandoned car. So there's two abandoned cars in that property, plus some remnants of old homeless encampments. I know they're old because they were clearly not being lived in at the time. So there's a lot of really interesting little remnants and stuff in the woods. That would have been perfect to cover, but I just didn't know that at the time. But again, I love Rock Rimmon. Beautiful place, great hiking. It's a mid tier video. And like, again, most of my early videos, I was very stilted. I don't think I presented it the way I would now. I don't know. It's a mid tier video. It is what it is. It exists on my channel. And if you removed it, literally nothing would change. All right, so in my next video, I explored an abandoned house. That is One Ferry Lane in Tyngsborough, Massachusetts. And to this day, this video is still one of my biggest regrets of any video I've ever filmed. And that's for one simple reason, and that is the fact that I publicly released the address of this location. One Ferry Lane in Tyngsborough, Massachusetts is quite literally the address of this abandoned house, which that's not something I ever did again, nor will I ever do it again. I'm completely against releasing addresses publicly on my channel. You guys know, especially longtime viewers of the channel, I never release the addresses to these spots because a lot of people have ill intent, whether it's arson or vandalism or just defacing and destroying properties. When you release addresses of these spots, of course, you're going to get people who just want to explore them and take photos, but more than not, you get people with ill intentions who want to ruin it for others and destroy them. I don't want to be responsible for releasing the addresses of these places to people with ill intentions. So it's not something I ever do anymore. But that being said, I was still new to YouTube. I was also still new to the online urbex community, even though I'd been doing urbex for many, many years prior. I was definitely new to the online community, and sharing locations is a grave sin. And I seriously regret the fact that I literally named my video after the address of this building. It was just a stupid decision on my part. So, again, this is one of my biggest regrets on the channel. So, for that reason, I'm giving this a D tier. Other than that, it's a pretty mid-tier video, but that alone makes it a D-tier video for me. But in terms of the exploration, I mean, it's just a mid-tier abandoned house. There's really nothing in there. It's not a time capsule or anything. There's nothing crazy to see. The location is kind of cool. It's right near a bridge overpass. But again, not much going on. I think my presentation and delivery is not very good. I also say that this is the first documentation of this abandoned property on the internet, which I thought was true, but after I looked into it more, it actually wasn't. I actually saw one or two other videos exploring this property. They were just smarter than me and didn't list the address. So definitely a bit of a incorrect humble brag on my part, but again, it's a mid-tier video that earned a D tier because of the fact that I listed the address. Not something I ever did again, nor will I ever do. I regret it. But other than that, it is what it is. It's an exploration of an empty abandoned house, not much else. Next up, we have my video exploring the abandoned Yankee siege in Greenfield, New Hampshire. And in my opinion, this is one of my most underrated explorations because I think this place was so cool. It's basically an abandoned medieval themed property with a lot of medieval things left behind, like a trebuchet, iron gates, a castle, a tower. It's so cool. It's all medieval themed, everything left behind. It was a lot of fun to explore. That was actually my second time visiting it. And I do think I covered it pretty well. I handle the history well. I go over all the details and facts about it, what led it to be abandoned in the first place. I also think I covered the entire property, showed everything there was to see in and out. And for that reason, I like that video. I think it's a B tier video, one of my better early 2022 videos. That being said, there's just little nitpicks I have here and there that leave it from being an A tier for me. Again, it's an early 2022 video, so I automatically hate a lot of stuff about it. I look terrible. I know, massive revelation. Um, And just like most of my other early videos, there's just little things here and there, like the cinematography and my filming is so bad. It's so shaky and rushed. I also think my humor is a little cringe, to be honest. I mean, my humor is cringe, but especially back then, I was like experimenting a bit. But that being said, I honestly do really like this location. I don't mind the video, and I think it was a fun exploration that covered everything that, needed to be seen at this spot. Definitely, again, one of my most underrated explorations. I really like this one. I'd love to visit it again. It's just, my inexperience with YouTube and making full videos that really held it back, but it's a cool spot and not a bad video. In my next video, I covered Fort Revere in Hull, Massachusetts, a classic abandoned New England fort. And man, that's one I really wish I had a drone for when I filmed it. I didn't get a drone until early 2024, but the aerial shots and views would have been phenomenal. This is such a beautiful location. It's right off the coast of the Boston Harbor, located in Hull, Massachusetts, which itself is a really cool beach town. But you get expansive views of Boston Harbor, the Boston Harbor Islands, and of course the Boston skyline itself. Beautiful site, beautiful location. But that being said, I have to give this a C tier. At the end of the day, it is a mid tier video for what I think is a really cool spot. Um, I just kind of wish that I went deeper and delved more into the history. Now, that being said, I did adequately cover the history and the past of this location. I just wish that I was more extensive about it. There's a lot more history to this place than what I covered. I also do think I covered the property quite well. I showed everything there was to see here. It's not really a massive site or anything. Just kind of wish I was a little more, extensive with it. Again, being an early 2022 video, it was definitely rushed and stilted. My presentation wasn't the best. I was still learning. Crappy cinematography. I mean, you guys know the drill by now. But again, cool little spot. Love the location. It's just a mid-tier early 2022 video. I also recall when I was filming this, it was a very busy summer day. It was actually June when I filmed this one, and there was a lot of people there. I mean, it's a very well-known public spot. So I remember trying to film around tons of other visitors and tourists, and that was a nightmare. I hate recording around other people. So I remember that kind of impeded the video's performance. But that being said, cool spot. I love Fort Revere. Yeah, it's not a bad video. It's just a mid-tier presentation. Definitely could have done more with it, but it is what it is. Next up, we're going to be covering my video exploring Spidergate Cemetery in Leicester, Massachusetts. Now, this is an interesting location. It's commonly cited as one of the most haunted locations in New England. It's super iconic in the cemetery scene. I mean, the spider gates themselves are so iconic. You can find pictures of them all over the internet. It's a really cool, secluded site, but it's also absolutely beautiful. It's a really historic Quaker cemetery. I've been there many times and I love visiting it. I actually got to give this video a B tier for a couple reasons. I don't think it's that bad, actually. Again, definitely suffers from a lot of the problems my early videos do. Stilted, presentations off, cinematography is not that great, awkward editing, but you can see I am slowly starting to improve. At this point, it's June 2022. But the other reason I think it's a B tier video is because I actually managed to capture it when the namesake spider gates were still there. I am sad to report, if you don't know, the spider gates themselves have been removed. I think a year or two ago, they mysteriously went missing. When you go there now, the gates are long gone. But at the time, I managed to film it and capture it when those gates were still there. The other thing I'm actually quite proud of myself for in this video is that I dispelled any and all myths and rumors about this site. If you guys don't know, I'm definitely a skeptic. I do not believe in the supernatural or the paranormal. I don't believe in hauntings or ghosts or anything like that. It's just who I am. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't dismiss people who do by any means. If you believe it, that's cool. I just personally don't. But I think that Spidergate Cemetery gets a lot of misrepresentation from people. They have all these outrageous claims that it's like a portal to the underworld, or, there's like weird cult sacrifices going on there. There's a lot of really stupid rumors and myths about it that I think impede on the actual interesting aspects of the cemetery. And throughout the video, I'm dispelling all of the rumors, showing that I don't believe in it, that I don't buy into it. Whereas a lot of YouTubers probably would buy into it because, it can be used as clickbait. It can make the video buff up a little bit more. You can kind of sell it off as like a more interesting location, like, oh, all this creepy, spooky stuff happened. Whereas in the video, I try to keep it objective. I try to keep it fact based, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. At the end of the day, I think it's just a really interesting, beautiful, historic Quaker cemetery that has really weird iron gates, and that's about it. I don't believe in any weird stories that surround it. So that being said, I actually like this video. I'm glad I captured it when I did. Other than, suffering from a lot of the ills that my early videos do, I don't mind it. And I think, again, I commend myself for covering it objectively the way I did. Next up, we got my exploration of the abandoned train cars in Bartlett, New Hampshire. Yet again, I'm going to give this one a B tier. I also don't think this video is that bad. It's definitely one of my better early 2022 videos. The thing I like about this video, especially compared to my entire channel, to be honest, is that it's very concise. I like how I was able to pack the history and the coolness factor of this really interesting and intriguing abandoned location in a nice 10-minute package. I don't oversell it. I don't go overboard. I'm not taking awkward, long pauses and stuff. I think it's concise. It's to the point. You get to see this really interesting abandoned location. You're in and you're out 10 minutes. I really like that about this video. It's something that I honestly don't do that much. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I overdo it a bit. I have several videos that are over an hour, which I know you guys love. Don't get me wrong. And I like making them, but I do kind of like how concise this video is. I pack everything there is about this abandoned location in a nice 10-minute package. And really, what more is there to say? It's 3 abandoned train cars in the middle of the White Mountains. Beautiful spot, really fascinating. And I do go over the history, but again, I don't overdo it. I show you each train car, we do a walkthrough of it, and that's really about it. It's a nice, concise video. One of my better early 2022 videos. This one was also from June. And I also believe at the time it was actually one of my most viewed videos. It was one of the few videos at the time that was really gaining traction for my channel. So definitely a cool video. I like it. Suffers from some of the issues that my other early videos do, but I definitely can see the improvement in this one. Now we're going to be taking a look at my exploration of the abandoned Bancroft's Castle in Groton, Massachusetts. Yet another local abandoned location to me. Been there many, many times, dozens. It's a beautiful site, amazing cobblestone ruins with a lot of rich history. But really, in my opinion, the selling point is the views. Once you get up that hill, Gibbet Hill, you get expansive views of downtown Groton, Massachusetts, the nearby hills and mountains, and just massive swaths of farmland and forest. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I'm giving this video an E tier. I do not like this video one bit. I frankly hate it. Now, it's not so much that it's F tier. It's not on the level of Hoosac Tunnel or Kristoff Pig Farm, because I do think the location's cool and I do think I adequately show it. But there's just quite a bit about this video I really hate. The first and foremost issue is that I constantly pronounce the hill that I'm on incorrectly. It's Gibbet Hill. In the video, I keep calling it Gibbet Hill, which is incredibly embarrassing considering that I live nearby Groton and I've been to Groton so many times throughout my life, been to that location many times before I even filmed that video, and I continue to call it Gibbet Hill. Sometimes when you film things stream of conscious, you make stupid mistakes. Oh my God, I hate that. So it's Gibbet Hill. I did adequately cover the history of the site, but there's a lot I left out. I also think I was spending too much time dispelling the supernatural and paranormal things about this location, which, don't get me wrong, there are people who think it's haunted. It's not. But I think I spent too much time dispelling that, kind of going off the high of my Spider Gates video, I guess. I wish I went more in depth about the interesting history of this place. I just frankly don't think I covered it as well as I could have. I think my presentation was sloppy, was stilted, horrible cinematography. I really don't think I captured the beauty of this location. I know I did showcase the hills, the views, but there's so much more I could have shown. I could have shown a bit more of the hiking there. In fact, one thing I wish I did was I wish I went at sunset. That's a beautiful place to go at sunset. Would have been a cool sunset exploration. I don't know. I really don't like this video for a myriad of reasons. In one of my later videos in 2024, I actually covered it again. It was in my Groton, Massachusetts town review video. I briefly covered it for a segment, and honestly, that little segment was way better than this whole video. So definitely check that out if you want to see a more modern approach to that location. Again, great location, great spot, but terrible presentation, terrible performance by me. I also look gross and disgusting in it, as per usual in early 2022. I mean, I'm hiking up this hill, which I repeatedly call Gibbet Hill, by the way, incorrectly. It's a hot summer day and I'm like sweating and I'm panting. Ugh, I don't know, man. I don't like this video. It's E tier, one of my worst early 2022 videos for a great location that could have been covered much better. My next video was exploring Ford's Folly in Sudbury, Massachusetts. Um, Honestly, I got to give this video a C tier. It's not amazing, it's not horrible, it just is what it is. It's a mid-level video, nothing crazy. But that being said, I think the location itself is honestly one of the most fascinating and interesting locations I've covered on the channel. And that's because of the history of this place. It really is, at the end of the day, just some cobblestone ruins in the middle of the woods. Not a lot of people know about it, but the history is so interesting. Without getting too much into detail, it was basically a failed industrial town set up by Henry Ford himself. Watch the video if you want to learn more about it, but it is so fascinating. It's basically a look into an alternate universe where Massachusetts actually becomes a major automobile hub. Crazy to think about. I always found the history of this place fascinating. That being said, the video itself is C tier because I think that while I do go over the history well and I do cover the location well, I show off everything there is to see. I don't know. I kind of think I could have delved deeper into that. I think I really could have looked further into that rich history of this location. It is such a unique location. I feel like if I was making this video today, I'd really, really go deeper into that point and like truly convey just how interesting this site is. I really think it's one of the most interesting and underrated locations in Massachusetts. But the way I kind of showed it off and displayed it, it was just an average exploration video. And for that, I got to give it a C tier. There's really not too much to say about this video. It just is what it is. Suffers from a lot of the failures of my other early 2022 videos. Again, you can see the improvements. You can see I'm getting more comfortable in front of a camera, and it's a cool location, but, could have been better. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at my video covering the abandoned Rutland prison camp in Rutland, Massachusetts, another classic and iconic abandoned location in New England. Everyone's been here, everyone knows about it, and nonetheless, I got to give this video a D tier. I think this is a D tier video. I'm not really a fan of it. Again, it's not outrageously horrible or anything. It doesn't like piss me off actively, but I think it is just such a failed coverage of this place. Rutland Prison Camp is a really fascinating man location. The history is super interesting. The site itself is really fun to visit. I've been there many times. It's like a bit of a trek to get there, a bit of a journey. It's in the middle of nowhere in Rutland, Massachusetts, super remote area. A lot of cool old concrete ruins of a former prison camp. It's fascinating. But my video is a D tier because I honestly didn't fully explore the site. There was so much I missed. While I do show a lot of the ruins, there's an entire massive section of ruins I completely missed. I believe it's actually the hospital portion of the site. I also don't think I covered the history as extensively as I could, left out a lot of details and information. In fact, after I filmed this video, I believe in 2024, they actually placed a lot of historical plaques at this location. So if you visit the Rutland prison camp today, you'll see a lot of historical plaques detailing the information about this place, which honestly would have been cool to see at the time. But at the time I filmed it, those weren't there. And for that reason, I think I kind of slacked a bit when it came to the history of this place. I just don't think my coverage was good. I think this is one of my most poorly researched locations. Um, and I really can't blame anyone but myself. But I think part of that is it is just such an iconic location. Everyone's filmed it, everyone's explored it. I almost just kind of brushed it off as a necessity. oh, I'm an Urbex channel, I gotta cover Rutland prison camp. It's like a box on the list you gotta check, and it really shows in that video. It almost seems like a chore. I filmed this after work one day. You can see that the lighting is not great. It's super shady and shadowy and hazy. I don't know. It's just kind of a rushed, half-assed video, in my opinion. Not greatly researched. I missed a lot, picked a horrible time to film it. And I just, again, look terrible. I'm like sweaty. It's a hot summer day. I'm just not proud of this video. If I was filming it today, I would have given a lot more love and care to the video. I would have researched it more heavily, would have showed everything. I don't know. I'm just not very proud of it. I don't really like this video. It's not one I ever want to look at or anything. Um, and it did decent, but I just think there's so much better Rutland prison camp videos out there. I almost kind of want to cover it again someday for that very reason. I just think I did a very piss poor job of covering it. Shame on you, JMass. Next up, we'll take a look at my video covering abandoned battery steel located on Peaks Island in Portland, Maine. And in my opinion, this is the most ambitious video I filmed in 2022, at least up until that point. Battery Steel is an interesting abandoned location. It's located on Peaks Island, which is actually an island in the middle of the Casco Bay in the Portland Harbor. The only way to get there is by ferry, so you have to take a ferry from mainland Portland. It's not like a hard journey or anything. It's actually quite cheap. It's quick and easy, but it just takes a lot more effort. It's more of an involved process to get to this abandoned location. And I really like this video, again, for its time, because you actually get to see the whole process of me taking the ferry from Portland, Maine, taking it throughout the Casco Bay. I have a bit of a montage going on, and then I arrive at Peaks Island. You see the process of me getting to the fort. It's really cool. So for that reason, I'm going to give this video a B tier. It's a B tier video that I am still quite proud of. It was a fun video to film and make. It was a fun video to edit. It was just a lot more ambitious and narrative than most of my other urban exploration videos, especially for the time. As I said, it takes a lot more effort to get there. So I had like a montage of me on the Casco Bay, taking it by ferry to get there. And I do think I adequately covered the whole property. You get to see not just the abandoned location, but you get to see a bit of Peaks Island as well, which is a cool island. I show off all there is to see at this abandoned battery. Now, that being said, in terms of history, definitely could have gone deeper. There's a lot of history I left out, but I do think, as far as I was concerned, I covered a majority of the history and the past of this abandoned site. Again, it definitely suffers from a lot of things my early videos do, but by this point, you can really see the improvements. I'm a lot more comfortable in front of a camera. I'm really starting to get a feel for the channel. I don't know. I like this video for its time. It was quite ambitious, much more narrative. You can see the whole process of me getting to the spot. It's a cool video and also a really cool location. I've only been there once, but I'd love to get back there again. Yeah, I like it. Not quite A tier, but definitely one of the better early 2022 videos I filmed. In fact, in 2022, this was my favorite video I filmed. Now it's clearly not because it's B tier, but if you asked me what my favorite video I made was in 2022, I would have picked the battery steel video. I was quite proud of it. It's a cool video, rough around the edges, but for its time, quite ambitious. It's a classic. So next up is my video exploring Bear's Den in New Salem, Massachusetts. I honestly don't have too much to say about the video itself, but I do have quite a bit of behind the scenes things about this video, so let me just explain really quick. Before I filmed this video, I was actually coming off of a multi-day illness. I actually had COVID and I was homesick for like 4 days. It was really bad. Honestly, to this day, still one of the worst illnesses I ever had in my life. I was out of work for 4 days, super sick. The problem is I'm someone who suffers from severe cabin fever. I really hate sitting inside and not doing anything. I'm very much an outdoorsy person. I like getting out there and doing things and being active. So being stuck inside straight for 4 days sick, hated it, hated it, hated it. The moment I even felt slightly better, I knew I had to get out. Now, obviously, having COVID at the time, I had to be careful. I wasn't going to go around other people. So I decided to go to a quite remote location, the Quabbin Reservoir in Massachusetts, probably the most remote part of Massachusetts. I knew I wouldn't come into contact with anyone, so I decided why not film a video going for a nice little hike at Bear's Den in New Salem, Massachusetts. Now, I love Bear's Den. It's a great hiking spot, really cool location with actually quite a bit of history, especially regarding the King Philip's War. But my video that I recorded that day, for a myriad of reasons, it was shit. It's a horrible video. I'm going to give this a D tier. My Bears Den video is a D tier video. Now, again, I was coming off of a multi-day illness. I was still kind of not feeling great. Definitely better than I was before, but still not feeling great. You can kind of see it in the video. You can see that I was definitely quite sickly. It was a super hot day, but worst of all, Massachusetts at the time was in a really bad drought. This is probably one of the worst droughts we've had in the 2020s. And part of the appeal of Bears Den is that there's a little bit of a cascade there. I don't know if I'd call it a waterfall, but there's a nice little cascade with a rushing stream, and you don't get to see it in this video. I just so happened to explore and showcase Bears Den during a severe drought. So it actually looks quite pitiful and sad in this video. The grass is brown. The river is like super dry. There's no waterfall. It's quite disappointing to see. And again, I'm quite sickly. I'm not on my A game. So I don't know. I don't really like this video. I love Bears Den. I love New Salem and I love the Quabbin region. But this video, it's not it. I really can't say much else about that. It's just kind of a mid-tier video, but it's D because of how poor the timing was. Also think I could have gone deeper into the historical section. And I just wish I picked this at a better date. I wish I didn't pick it during a severe drought. Also, at the time, this video did quite well, which was random. This video did really well for the time. Not so much now. It's only at like 1,000 views, but for the time, it did really well. So I was like perplexed why this video took off the way it did. Yeah, not my best. It's definitely D tier. Next up, we're going to take a look at my video exploring the abandoned Oakland Mill in Burrillville, Rhode Island. Now, I really like this location. I've been here several times before. It's the ruins of a former mill located along a rushing river. There's also some other cool abandoned spots in that area. It's very easy to get to. Now, that being said, I'm going to give this video a C tier. I don't think it's a bad video by any means. It's just kind of a mid-tier video. Not really that much to say about it, to be honest. I love the location. I think it's great. But what holds this video back from being truly great is that I just don't really do much with the spot. I do go over the history quite well, but there's actually a bit I left out. To be fair, at the time, I couldn't really find much information about it online. But later down the road, I was able to find more, which I left out, which was a bummer. I do think I showed the property pretty well, but one of the other problems at the time I filmed this was, and I mentioned this in the other entry, New England was going through a serious drought, and that included Rhode Island. And normally when you go here, you just get rushing rapids from the river. The river goes through the ruins of this mill, but unfortunately, it was in the middle of a drought, so you didn't really get to see the true experience of witnessing the rushing cascades of this abandoned mill. And I honestly do think that slightly impedes on the exploration because part of the appeal is the specific scenic spot, seeing the rushing water come down the mill. It's really cool to see when it's a nice day, but because it was drought season, I don't know, it wasn't great. Again, this was like a severe drought for New England, worse than usual. But that being said, it's not a bad video. It is what it is. I cover the place in depth. I go over the history the best I can, show off all the abandoned spots. It's not bad. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but it is one of the cooler abandoned spots I visited in Rhode Island. So in my next video, I actually explored a tri-point border. That's a point where three states converge and meet at one specific point. Those states being, in this case, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of geography. I love geography. I find it fascinating, and that includes borders. I find borders super fascinating. Now, back in early 2022, specifically in May, I actually had plans to make a series where I explore several tri-state borders. I actually wanted to start with the Vermont, Massachusetts, New York one, but that just ultimately didn't pan out for reasons I'm not going to get into. Long story short, I wasn't able to find it. But the Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island tri-state border is very easy to get to. You actually have to start in Thompson, Connecticut, and do a bit of hiking to get there. It's a cool spot. I still love going there. Been there a few times. I still love borders and I find it fascinating. And by the way, I actually filmed this video on the very same day I filmed the Oakland Mill video in Burrillville, Rhode Island. It was actually not too far away. So this was a same day shoot. But that being said, all things considered, this is a C tier video. Although it is an interesting location, I think the video was very drawn out. It's an over 11-minute long video, and the video truly did not need to be 11 minutes. I could have been a lot more concise with it. I felt like a lot of the video was just repeating and reiterating the same point. Wow, this is a tri-point border. 3 different states meet at the same point. To a nerd like me, that's fascinating, but it only seems cool when you say it over and over and over. And the whole video is just me saying it over and over and over. I think I am a little bit cringe and tacky in this video. You know, I'm playing around with the border, being like, look at me, I'm in several states at once. I don't know. It's like the childish charm really wears off after a little bit. It's just this grown ass man dancing around a granite monument. I don't know. It's really kind of weird. That being said, again, cool spot. I don't think it's a bad video. It's just too drawn out, too over the top. I just think my presentation was a little uh, cringe and almost a little too extroverted for my taste. There's also some points where I actually think I could have gone more in depth with the history, but didn't. Um, when you're hiking to this tri-point border, you actually go across a couple interesting sites. I forget exactly what it was, but there's an abandoned railroad bridge on the way that has a fascinating history. There was a serious train collision that occurred there, and I just like briefly gloss over that. But I actually wish I went into more detail about that historical event because it's fascinating. Again, that being said, could have been a much more concise video. I think it was much more drawn out. Also, by the way, such a hot day when I filmed this, one of the hottest film shoots that I've ever endured. And I had no water with me. I finished drinking my water midway through the hike. I was panting. I was so dehydrated. And I feel like by the end of the video, you can really tell. So I don't know. It's a C tier video. Could have been more concise. Definitely was not on my A game, but it's a cool spot nonetheless. Next up, we have my exploration of Madame Sherry's Castle in Chesterfield, New Hampshire, an iconic set of New England ruins. And I gotta be honest, this video is a C tier for me. And this is actually one of those rare videos where I honestly don't even have a reason why. I just really don't like it. I'm personally just not crazy about this video. I'm actually quite underwhelmed by it. I think it could have been a lot better. But again, I don't necessarily have a valid reason why. I mean, I show off the entire property. I show everything there is to see. I actually go over the history in detail. I cover the whole story of this location. Um, I don't know, something about this video just doesn't do it for me. And if I could redo it nowadays, it would be much better. That being said, I think it's a perfectly fine and serviceable video. It's not horrible. It's not amazing. It just exists. It's one of those videos that I personally just don't really vibe with. Again, I don't know, something about it just doesn't do it for me. Perhaps it's just my very stilted narration, my very awkward intervals and edits. Perhaps, again, it's just the way I look. But something about this video just doesn't do it for me, doesn't vibe with me. I'm really not crazy about it. But I also understand it's not horrible. So this to me is a C tier video, perfectly serviceable, nothing more than that. But Madame Sherry's Castle, absolutely stunning location. I love it. For my next video, I explored the abandoned ruins of Rocky Point Amusement Park located in Warwick, Rhode Island. Now, this tier list ranking might actually be considered controversial by some because for quite some time, this video was beloved by many. In fact, to this day, it's still one of the highest viewed videos on my channel, and many people loved it. And many people love the location, and I can see why. Rocky Point Amusement Park is truly a Rhode Island icon. Many viewers on my channel said that they actually visited the amusement park when it was still active. It truly is beloved by many Rhode Islanders, and you know, me being from the younger generation and from Massachusetts, I just didn't have any personal connection with Rocky Point Amusement Park. But again, it truly is beloved. So many people flocked to my video to express how much they loved this amusement park, to express how much they loved my video covering it. I really didn't get many negative comments. People loved this video. It did super well. It's sitting at almost 7,000 views right now. That being said, This video to me is a D tier video. Now, I don't necessarily think that the spot is bad. I actually find the spot fascinating as well. The reason it's D tier for me is because this was such a rushed last minute video. And to see the response that this video received, how much people loved it, how passionate people were about Rocky Point Amusement Park, it left me feeling like I did this location such a disservice by how rushed and quick it was. Basically, to give you some context, at that time that I was filming, I was down in Rhode Island. It was a hot August day, and I had a specific location in mind. I'm not going to reveal what it was, but there was a place I wanted to film in Rhode Island that, long story short, didn't work out. I wasn't able to film there. And I think it was like maybe a Sunday. I had work the next day, so I was struggling to find something to film because if I didn't film it then I wouldn't be able to film it for another week. And I was like, oh, what do I film? I need to film something ASAP. I was struggling to think of something to film. So then I decided on Rocky Point Amusement Park in Warwick, Rhode Island. It was a super rushed last minute plan B decision. I went in struggling to get the equipment ready to film. I was rushing to memorize all the facts and information, trying to make sure I was fully prepared, which I was only partially prepared. Anyways, without rambling, this was a very rushed last minute video, and I feel like it comes across in the video. I'm not super proud of it. Again, I didn't know how truly beloved and passionate this place was, or I should say how passionate people are about this place. I'm I'm a young guy, I'm 26 years old. I'm also from Massachusetts. So I had no personal connection of this park. I also didn't realize how beloved it was. So I just went in treating it like any ordinary ruins I'd film. And again, people flocked to this video. They loved it. And then it just had me thinking like, wow, I could have done so much better. I feel like I don't know, man. Without repeating myself, it's just a rushed video. I feel like I didn't give it the love and care it deserved. That being said, the video itself isn't horrible. I mean, I do think I cover the park in pretty good detail. It's really just the historical facts and details. I think I just did a piss poor job at. Missed a lot of information. I didn't really capture how much this place means to Rhode Islanders. I don't know, man. I just do not like this video at all. Um, it's just another missed opportunity for me. It's one that I almost wish I could go back to and like truly showcase how much this means to people. But in terms of the actual video, I mean, I can't deny it's not a horrible video. It's just super rushed, not well researched. I'm not proud of it. It's just one of those videos I just put out there for the sake of putting out there. For my next video, I covered Santarella in Tyringham, Massachusetts. And I honestly just don't have a lot to say about this video. I'm actually going to place it in the C tier on the list. This is definitely a middle of the road video. It's only 3 minutes long of me visiting Santarella, also known as the real life gingerbread house in Tyringham, Massachusetts. Don't get me wrong, it's a pretty location. It truly is an icon of the Berkshires, but there's just really not much to say about it. 3 minute long video of me just checking out this interesting looking house, quickly going over the history, and that's it. It's a super short, forgettable mid video on my channel that if you removed it, nothing would change. It's still one of the lowest viewed videos on my channel. So I don't know. I just really don't have much to say about it. It's C tier because it's just there. It's really just there. It's the background character of my channel. But again, Santarella is a cool place. It's a pretty location. I like it. Every time I drive by it, I always stop and stare, but I don't know. Nothing. The video itself isn't crazy. Now we're going to take a look at my video covering the abandoned Mount Tom ski area in Holyoke, Massachusetts. And I'm actually going to put this video in the B tier. I think this is a B tier video. I like it. I think it's a great urban exploration video. It's nothing outstanding. It's nothing amazing or mind blowing, but it is a good urban exploration video. I like it. I think it aged pretty well. Now, of course, there are things about it I don't like. Again, I know I'm beating a dead horse when I say this, but it is an early 2022 video. This one filmed in August, and it's rough around the edges. Cinematography is horrible. It's very shaky, very stilted. I don't think I look great. I think my narration can be a little bit patchy here and there. Editing definitely leaves a lot to be desired. But if you ignore all that, I do think it's a good urban exploration video. Mount Tom ski area is a fascinating abandoned location. There's a lot of structures left behind, a couple sheds and lodges and ruins. Um, Mount Tom itself is beautiful, such a gorgeous scenic location. I visited it many times and I love it. Yeah, I think this video is pretty good. It's definitely B tier. I do like it. Definitely one of my better 2022 exploration videos. Um, there are like a few other weird things about it. In the beginning of the video, I look like really freaked out when I'm exploring at first. I don't know why. I just had like really weird vibes about the location. And I remember saying in the video, like, oh, Holyoke is so scary. It's kind of cringe. I also got some information wrong, which I know people in the comments corrected me on, but overall, I think it's a good exploration. Solid enough for what it is. In my next video, I traveled to the town of Peru, Massachusetts. And this is another one of those comedic videos I used to film back in the day. And I mean this unironically, genuinely, with no exaggeration. This video is an A tier, the first A tier on the tier list ranking. I'm not gonna lie, this video still kind of cracks me up to this day. It's so stupid that it's kind of funny. It's almost like the Plymouth Rock one. Um, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but long story short, the town of Peru, Massachusetts surprises me quite a bit for one major reason. And my freak out and crash out at the very end of the video is actually quite funny. I was obviously acting over the top, but I had such an over the top reaction at the end of the video. I don't know. When I watch back, it still kind of makes me laugh. So even though this is an objectively stupid comedy video and I beat the joke into the ground like within the first minute, I don't know. It's kind of funny. I genuinely think it's an A tier video. Again, my crash out at the very end of the video, that's a JMass classic. Now we're going to take a look at my exploration of the abandoned Fort Stark in Newcastle, New Hampshire. Now, fun fact, this is actually the video where I first debuted my Instagram account, JMassOfficial. By the way, follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial if you haven't yet. Shameless plug. But yes, that is the first video where I debuted my Instagram account. So you could probably argue that that video is the inception of modern day JMass because that's when I truly branched out and reached new people. But yeah, Fort Stark, really cool location, really interesting spot to explore and film. And I got to give this video a B. I think this is a B tier video. I quite like it. I think it's a good urban exploration. Nothing outstanding, but I like it. I think it's good. Fort Stark is a fascinating coastal New England fort. One thing I really liked about when I filmed it was a lot of the batteries were accessible, very easy to get into and film. That's actually no longer the case. Nearly all the batteries now are completely sealed shut. There's no way to get inside them, at least legally. But back when I filmed, it was very easy to get inside, and I'm glad I did because it made the video a lot more engaging and interesting, being able to go inside of these batteries. That being said, there are a few things that kind of hold this video back for me. I wasn't actually able to get inside the main central structure on the property, that large white building. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the thumbnail of the video is that white structure. Wasn't able to get in there, which sucks. And I've seen a lot of people get inside it. It looks cool. The other thing is, of course, my cinematography is not great. It's very shaky, not secure at all. Also, I didn't really mention this yet, but in a lot of my early videos, pretty much up until early 2023, I never had a flashlight, which is so stupid. I always filmed with my really bad quality iPhone flashlight, and this one's no exception. So when I'm inside these really dark battery halls, they are so dark you can't even see what I'm filming because I have no flashlight. I'm using my horrible iPhone flashlight. Kind of a shame. But yeah, other than that, I don't mind it. I think it's a pretty good urban exploration. Fort Stark is a cool spot. Oh, I should also mention, while I did cover the history in great detail, I was obviously missing out some things, and I will admit I think I got some information incorrect in this video. Shout out to one of my longtime subscribers and viewers, Julian Malcolm. He actually, I think he discovered me through this video, and he like hit me up in the comments telling me, all the points that I missed or the mistakes I made. So shout out to him for helping correct me on this video. Because I do believe I got some things wrong. and definitely missed some important historical points. But anyways, yeah, cool video and great spot. Highly recommend visiting it. Next up, we got the Highover Ruins in Beverly, Massachusetts, and I'm going to give this video a C tier. I think this is yet another middle of the road urban exploration video. Not amazed by it. I don't hate it. It is what it is. I just think it's a cool spot, but it's nothing amazing. It is an admittedly small property, but it's very beautiful. And, I capture the entire property in its entirety. I show everything there is to see. I think I covered the history quite well. But that being said, there's really not much else to show. And I think my presentation in this video was admittedly pretty bad. Definitely a couple cringe moments. So I don't know. It's not really a video I'm that into. It's not one I would ever come back to myself. I don't know. It is what it is. It's a cool exploration of this fascinating former mansion in Beverly. And the owner is really fascinating himself. But again, I don't know. It's just such a mid tier video to me. So the Highover Ruins video definitely getting a C tier for me. I don't really have much else to say other than it is what it is. Definitely has a lot of kind of cringy, rough moments. But it's a cool spot nonetheless, and I think I covered it pretty well, including the history and all there is to see, which admittedly isn't much. It is quite small, but not a bad video. So the next video is the Brattleboro Retreat in Brattleboro, Vermont, and this truly is a beautiful location. It's a very gorgeous and scenic forested area with hiking trails and a lot of outdoor recreational areas, intertwined with historic ruins from the Retreat Tower to the Brattleboro Retreat Cemetery to a mysterious brick building tucked away in the woods, you know, hidden upon one of the trails. It's a cool spot with a lot of history and some fascinating ruins. And I think my video covered it quite well. I'm going to put this at B tier. I liked filming this video a lot. I liked exploring the Brattleboro Retreat. I've actually been there twice. It's a really cool location. There's not a whole lot to see necessarily. It's mostly just small miscellaneous ruins, but the Brattleboro Retreat Tower is really cool. Even though you can't go inside it, the tower sitting on top of that hill with all the thick trees surrounding it, it's a really interesting ethereal site. The Brattleboro Retreat Cemetery is truly haunting. Just imagining like all of the brutality that occurred there. Um, yeah, it's an interesting site with a lot of history. I think my video covered it well. I think I truly went over the history the best I could. I think I discussed all there was to discuss about the history. Brattleboro Retreat is interesting because while it was a mental institution, it was arguably a lot more humane than other mental institutions were at the time. Not to say it was necessarily amazing and super ethical, but compared to its contemporaries, it was definitely a lot better. And I think I made that clear in the video. At the same time, I also think I was quite respectful to the patients who were there, especially in the cemetery part. I think I was quite respectful. I think the video was actually well shot. Um, yeah, I like the video. I think it's good. It's not amazing. It's not mind blowing, but I do think it was a pretty good, solid video overall. It was well received, and yeah, I had a blast filming it. Next up, we got my exploration of Freedley Quarry in Dorset, Vermont. I also filmed this video on the same day as the Brattleboro Retreat video, and I'm also going to be giving this one a B tier. I think this is a B tier video. I quite like this exploration. I really like the video. Again, nothing amazing or groundbreaking, but I do think it's a good video. And, Freedley Quarry is a really cool location. It's one of the most unique abandoned quarries I've ever visited. Most quarries are built, top down, but this one is actually built from the side. They quarried into the side of a mountain, and it makes this really cool cavern that you can go inside and explore. I visited it in the fall, but a lot of people recommend that you go there in the winter when all of the water inside is icy. You can go ice skating, so that would be really cool to see. But yeah, I really liked Freedley Quarry. The main reason this isn't an A to me, I'm not going to lie, I was actually on the fence with this one, but the reason it's not an A is for one reason that I think actually impedes on the video, and that's the fact that I didn't have a flashlight. As I mentioned earlier, I did not have a flashlight, a proper flashlight, until 2023. So I was coming into this literally dark, pitch black cave with just an iPhone flashlight. And because of that, the video quality is quite grainy. It's quite shady. There's a lot of really bad lighting and shadows. If I actually had a good quality flashlight, I think this video could be an A tier. I really do like it. I thought it was a great exploration. Definitely a spot I'd love to return to. Um, Other than that, not too much else to say. I like how the video starts off with me hiking through the woods, checking out some old historic ruins along the way. I think I cover the history quite well. Again, I like this video a lot. It's just the fact that I didn't have a flashlight that really holds it back. Would have made the video so much better. Next up, we have my video covering the ruins of Dana Common in Petersham, Massachusetts. And it's around this period of time in my channel's history where I truly think that I'm improving for the better. My channel's at an upward trend at this point. I think that I'm putting out better quality videos. My narration's improving, my cinematography and editing's improving. I'm covering the histories and subject matters so much better. And this video is no exception. I think that this Dana Common video is a B tier. I'm putting this in the B tier. It's one of the last few B tier videos we've had in a row. And again, for a reason, I truly think that my videos have been improving around this point, fall 2022. Now, Dana Common's a really interesting location. It's actually a former town in Massachusetts that was disincorporated in the 1930s to make way for the flooding of the Quabbin Reservoir. Really interesting location. And I think I did a good job at covering it, discussing the history. However, it is B tier because number one, I think the video is actually a little too long. I think that there's a lot of repetition and a lot of repeating. And I think that I'm sort of just not super concise in this one. It's a roughly 24-minute video. Not to say that's horribly long, but I just don't think the video needs to be as long as it was. At the end of the day, it's really just cobblestone ruins I'm checking out. Feel like I was spending a little too much time on them. I also think I could have gone a little deeper into the history of the Quabbin Reservoir itself and maybe discussed a little bit more about the town of Dana, what it was like. But nonetheless, I do think I did a good job at really discussing the history, why this is such a crucial moment in Massachusetts history. And again, it's a cool location, nothing groundbreaking, but I think the history really sells it, especially when you get to see all the ruins that are left behind. I also picked a pretty great day for filming, I gotta say. This is one of my better looking videos of 2022, so I like it. It's a B tier video. Next up, we have my video of me walking from Salem, Massachusetts to Boston, Massachusetts, a roughly 15-mile walk between the two cities. Now, this video was actually my girlfriend's idea. Behind the scenes, off camera, I love to walk and hike. I do a lot of long distance walking, and my girlfriend suggested that I should actually film it, make a video covering my long distance walking escapades. And this is a route that I've done a few times, Salem to Boston. It's not really hard or anything, but it is very long and very tedious. So I decided that would be a cool idea. So I filmed this video of me walking between Salem and Boston. However, at the time I filmed it, it had been quite a while since I'd done that route. Actually, I think a few years. So I'm going to be putting this video at C. This is a C tier video, in my opinion, for two major reasons. The number one reason is that I just think it runs on for way too long. This could have been a much more snappy and concise video. I think that the editing, if it was a lot more snappy and quick, would have been a really interesting watch, but it really drags on. This video is almost 44 minutes long. That's way too long, in my opinion, for a guy just walking 15 miles. The other reason why I'm not too crazy about it is because it makes me kind of look like a wimp. As I said, it had been quite a while since I'd done a really, really long walk like that. Nowadays, I actually do walks even longer. 15 miles to me isn't that much, but at that time, I had taken quite a break. So in the video, you see me like panting and struggling, like, oh my God, this is such a long walk. I think like by the end of it, my legs were just broken. And now I look at that, I'm like, dude, you're so pathetic. I don't know. This is more of a personal thing. I've done that walk a couple more times since then, and I really don't have the problems I had at that time. But it is what it is. It's a unique chapter in my life. You truly get to see me hike from Salem to Boston, all the positives, the scenery and going through all the towns and checking out the historic sites, to the negatives, which was just me complaining about how tired I was and how in pain my legs and feet were. So I don't know. I think it's personally a bit of a tedious watch, but it is cool getting to see Metro Boston in such a unique way, you know, walking from the North Shore to Boston proper itself. Next up, we have my video exploring the abandoned Merrimack Paper Company mill in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And I gotta say, you know, a little bit of behind the scenes information. This is probably one of the most risky and sketchy and downright dangerous abandoned locations I've ever explored on the channel, or just in general, really. You can kind of see it in the video itself, but this abandoned location was pretty notorious for basically being a den for unsavory individuals. Obviously, there were a lot of people squatting there, but more specifically, they were there to deal with materials and substances that are illegal and that you shouldn't be taking. If you know, you know. A lot of that was going on at this location. So, me being there myself, by myself, and exploring it, very risky. It's one of those things I look back at, and I'm like, wow, you are so crazy, JMass. You know what I mean? I can't believe I did that. Now, I got very lucky when I was exploring it, didn't run into anyone because it was actually an early morning exploration. But that being said, throughout the video, you can see so many remnants of people's beds and sleeping bags and tents and just clothing and stuff left behind. A lot of it pretty recent. So it is a shock that I didn't run into anyone. But regardless, and this is going to be crazy. This is actually an A tier video. I think this is the 2022 video I'm the most proud of. This video is A tier for me. I really like this video. I think that this is one of the quintessential abandoned exploration videos I did that year. This is truly me coming into my own at this point. Again, it's such a risky, unique location. I think that it's so interesting. Um, the history is fascinating. I do think I cover the history pretty well, although I will admit I think I left a few things out because there wasn't a lot of information about this site online. I had to do a lot of digging, but what I did find and uncover, I think I, you know, portrayed it quite well. We covered the entire site, and it's just such a unique location. I love exploring abandoned mills and factories, and this one was no exception. I think I did a great job covering it. I think the cinematography, while still a little bit shaky and quick, I think was definitely improving around this time. I think it's, again, one of my better looking videos on the channel around that time. I really like it. I think that's an A tier exploration. That was truly me coming into my own. You can see all the improvements that have been made since I started a few months prior. Yeah, I like this video. I think it still holds up. Still one of my favorite urban exploration videos, and it's just a lot more unique and just interesting considering how crazy of an explorer it was. This video was actually demolished last year as well, so it also stands as a bit of historic preservation and documentation, but definitely an A tier video. Next, we're going to take a look at my video covering the Barry Cross in Barry, Massachusetts. And this is one of those videos that I look back at and think to myself, man, I really wish I had a drone back then because drone shots of this site would have gone crazy. Basically, this place is famous for spelling out the words God's wisdom using landscaping, you know, pine trees, pathways. There's also a giant cross that's created. So the environment is landscaped and manicured in a way that conveys the owner's religious beliefs. It's a really interesting location, not abandoned by any means, but it's a really cool religious artifact in central Massachusetts. And I had a great time covering it, but I'm going to be giving this video a B tier, primarily because I didn't have a drone. I mean, this is one of those things that you need to see from above to truly enjoy it. It's really cool on the ground. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of cool stuff on the ground. There are boulders that have religious inscriptions on them. Um, there's a lot of signage and plaques that kind of go along with the whole theme, and you can walk throughout the entire property from all the pathways to the pine trees. There's a small little museum on the property that goes over how the place was built, which is also fascinating. But man, I really wish I had a drone. Would have been so much cooler to see that from above. Instead, the best you guys get in that video is a shitty quality image that I took off Google Images. So I don't know. It's not something I could have controlled at the time. I just kind of wish I saved it for when I had a drone. And other than that, though, it's a cool video. Maybe a little too long. It's roughly 17 minutes. Could have been a little more concise. And I do think I could have gone at a better time. It was actually a little crowded when I got there. So I was having some awkward filming moments, trying to film not near other people. I don't know. There's a couple things about it I'm not crazy about, but it's nothing major. I still think it's a good video, and I'm happy with it. It's a cool, underrated gem in central Massachusetts. Just kind of wish I went there when I could actually see it from above, which, I mean, that's the main draw to it. Next up, we have my video exploring the ruins of the town of Livermore in Livermore, New Hampshire. This is a pretty interesting video, really interesting location, and I'm going to give it a B tier. I think it's another solid video. Doesn't go above and beyond or anything. It's pretty serviceable, but there are a couple things that hold it back for me. But again, overall, solid, good video, and the location's fascinating. One thing I haven't really mentioned yet, but I think this video is a perfect example of, is back in 2022. I used to swear a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I still kind of do every once in a while. Like sometimes I let it slip, but I will say I think I've improved at really keeping swearing out of my videos because I don't know who's watching them. I'm sure families and children are watching them, and I don't want them to hear that kind of language. I'm not gonna lie. I can definitely be a bit of an edgy guy in my personal life. I do swear a lot. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But in my videos, that's another story, especially when I'm covering historical things. And I think in this video, it's a little abrasive. It's a little too much. Like in the introduction, there's just a really awkward moment where I just drop the F bomb in such a potent way that it almost comes off as like kind of cringe. And that wasn't planned or anything. It's just, again, that is how I talk. I gotta admit it. And that's actually one of the videos where I got some criticism for that, and rightfully so. I should. So ever since then, I tried to downplay that a bit more. Not do it as much. Um, I agree. I think that actually takes away from the content sometimes. I also think this particular video is a bit rough. There's a couple things that could have been edited out. Like there's a part of me tripping, which I left in. I think at the time I thought it was funny, but it just takes away. Um, the editing and pacing is a little off. That being said, I think I cover the history quite well. I go over all the ruins there are to see. I actually go above and beyond to show all the ruins on this exploration I did. So I think it's an overall pretty good video, captures the site truly well. History is covered truly well. It's just, I think the video itself is a little rough, a little abrasive. Editing and pacing could have been done better. And yeah, it's a good video nonetheless. And it did quite well for the time. That was another video that really took off for me in 2022. Next up is my exploration of the Old Stone Church in West Boylston, Massachusetts, and I'm going to give this video a B tier. I think it's another solid, good video. Nothing outstanding, nothing bad. It's just a good exploration video. The main thing I like about it is how concise it is. It's less than 10 minutes long, covers everything that needs to be covered. I think I really accurately and adequately go over all the history on the site. And admittedly, it's not necessarily a massive site or anything. It's actually an empty, hollowed out church that was left behind to make way for the Wachusett Reservoir. So, really interesting location, but there's not a whole lot there, and I don't think I drag it out or anything. It's very concise, gets to the point, covers everything that needs to be covered, and I think that is what works the best in this video. I also think that my narrations definitely improved a lot at this time. Yeah, it's a good video. I like it. Honestly, not too much else to say. I just think it does what needs to be done, and it does it well. Next up, we have my exploration of the abandoned Union Pond Mill in Manchester, Connecticut. And this is yet another JMass classic. I'm going to give this an A tier. I think this is another very good exploration video. Again, especially considering the time I filmed this. This one was from December 2022. So at this point, much later in the year. I had several months of experience by this point, and you can really see it. I think that this is a very solid video. Honestly, my only major criticism about this one is the long ass introduction. This probably has to have one of the longest introductions of any video I've done. It really kind of drags on. It's a bit tedious, I'm not going to lie, but I don't think that takes away from the video itself. I do think that I adequately cover the history, even considering that there wasn't too much history about this site online. It was kind of tough to find and research, but I think I did it well. I think I presented it well. I showed everything there was to see on the site, and I think it was a fun exploration. My humor was coming through, which is something I haven't mentioned yet, but I always try to sprinkle in a little bit of humor in my videos when I can. I think this video is just overall a great representation of what my channel was at this time. It was funny, It was informative. It was interesting. It was cool. It was a little risky here and there. I like it a lot. I think this is a solid urban exploration video of a really fascinating location. Introduction could have been a bit shorter, but you can say that about nearly every video I film. So overall, yeah, I like the Union Pond Mill video. It's a classic. It's one of my favorite early videos I made. And what more can you really say? All right, we're going to be ending off 2022 with a banger. This is the very last video I filmed and released in 2022 in December. And this is genuinely one of the best videos I filmed that year. And that, of course, is my Lake Chargogagog, Manchagagog, Chowbunagungumog video in Webster, Massachusetts. This is an S tier video. I genuinely really like this video. Still to this day, I still think it's one of the best, funniest, and most unique videos I ever filmed on the channel. Wish I had more stuff like this, honestly. The entire video is basically me flexing the fact that I can actually say the entire name of this lake, which is Lake Chargogagog, Manchagagog, Chowbunagungumog. It's, of course, the lake with the longest name in Massachusetts. It's a crazy Native American name that really isn't truly Native American. It's almost like a white person's bastardization of Native American terminology. I explain in the video. Go give it a watch. But basically, I really like this video. It's short, it's concise. It's only like 6 minutes long, but I go over the history of this lake. I go over the history of the name, which is why people really care about it. And I think it's fun. You get to see a little bit of everything. You see the lake itself. You see the iconic green sign that's on the side of the state highway. You see that there's a strip mall named after the lake. You see that there's a bridge overpass with the lake's name on it. And throughout the video, I continue to say Lake Chargogagog, Manchagagog, Chowbunagungumog. It's an absolute JMS classic. I love it. And it's still a party trick to this day that I can even say that lake's name. So I really like that video. I think I also look great in it. I was really looking good in that video. Mwah, JMass, you sexy beast. I knew you could do it. So yeah, that's an S tier video for me. I love it. And a great way to end off 2022. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been JMass as always, and this has been another dope adventure. I'm going to keep this outro as brief as humanly possible because it is May 15th as I film this, meaning that it's the 3-year anniversary, but I've been having so many technical issues and difficulties with this video. I got to get it uploaded ASAP, so again, I'm going to keep this outro brief. Happy 3-year anniversary of the JMass YouTube channel. I truly appreciate all of you sticking around with me, whether you're a new viewer who just joined recently or an old one who's stuck around with me for years now. Nonetheless, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you also checking in on this video. Again, it didn't really pan out the way I expected. Been having a lot of problems getting this video going, getting it off the ground, but nonetheless, I'm going to get it uploaded for today. So I'm going to go do that right now. Basically just pulled nearly an all-nighter trying to get this thing done, but it is what it is, guys. Anyways, my name has been JMS as always. Happy 3 years, 3 whole years. Crazy to even think about. May 15th, 2022 to May 15th, 2025. Again, appreciate all of you sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.